संस्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हि या सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। परतत्त्वे सदा लीनो रामकृष्णसमाज्ञया यो धर्मस्थापनरतो वीरेशं तं नमाम्यहम्। So, dear friends, mostly connected with our Vedanta Society of Connecticut, we shall begin this monthly meeting, and as we usually try, we take up a topic connected with Bhagavad Gita. Various topics that have come in Bhagavad Gita in various contexts, we have taken them up in these discussions, and there is a lot of scope always to think on Bhagavad Gita. It is an eternal scripture giving lot of inspiration and very specific guidance in the context that what people, the doubts that would come in people's minds. And today we will take up a doubt that is expressed by Arjuna on our behalf in 6th chapter. So let us begin with the prayers that we usually do because it is a discussion on Bhagavad Gita. Let us offer pranam to Lord Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. Vande Vanshidharam Krishnam Smayamanamukambujam Pītāmbaradharam Nilam Malyachandanabhushitam Radhachittachakurindum Saundarya Sumahodadhim Parat Parataram Devam Brahmananda Kripanidhim Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhame Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. So, dear friends, let us remember that this Bhagavad Gita is our mother, not just in a genetic way. That is a very limited motherhood. It is connected just with the body. This body comes out of a womb, so that becomes a mother. Nothing more than that. But there is this eternal motherhood. We were at today's breakfast discussing that how Holy Mother told that I am not just mother to say mother by in a general way, or is not just an imaginary mother, but I am real mother. I am real mother of all times. Janma Janmantare, for all births, I am the mother. Because that is an eternal, divine, spiritual motherhood. Everything comes from that. And so, in that sense, that is our true mother. All are the effects of this power, Prakriti of the Lord. Things come out from that Prakriti, and so that Prakriti is our real mother, and Holy Mother identifying with that says, yes, I am your real mother, I am mother of everybody, each and every one. So Bhagavad Gita is mother in that sense of the spiritual seekers, that those who want to give up, break this bondage of this samsara, this duality. And so, how it breaks that bondage? This mother breaks the bondage by giving Advaitamrita Varshinim. She showers the nectar of this non-duality. The nectar of non-duality is showered on us by this mother, breaks the bondage of mortality, and one becomes immortal. But then this prayer says, prayer is by an aspirant. So the aspirant declares, Amba Tvam Anusandadhame. O Mother, I am following you. I am walking on the path shown by you. This word Anusandhan is very important. Sandhan means kind of investigation and inquiry. And Anusandhan is following certain great teachings or personalities. This inquiry is being taken up. So, Anusandadhami, so following in the footsteps of Bhagavad Gita, that changes the life. It is a life-changing thing. It is not just mere reading or academic discussion or writing a thesis or giving a talk. No, this is for changing the course of life. That is Anusandhan. Anusandadhame. Bhagavad Gita. How are you, Bhavadveshini? You are hater, dvesh. Hater in the sense, you don't like it. What? Bhava means this bondage of getting born again and again. This is a bondage. And we do not take birth like the incarnations of God take birth by their own free will to bless people. We have to, ordinary beings like us are forced to take birth because of the desires and karma that we had done out of that. So, like a criminal caught and convicted doesn't go to prison by choice, has to go, no, I will not go, that won't do. But somebody who just wants to go and pay a visit to the prison just to see how it looks and maybe can give some advice to the prisoners there. So that person goes out of free will, hasn't committed any convictable crime that would make him get locked in the prison. So for that person it is a work taken up voluntarily. But for others, for 99.999%, almost everybody practically, it is that little bit they need not be considered. It is for all, practically everyone. How the birth happens? Due to the desires. And they never get fulfilled. So desires, they continue, the desires propel karma, actions, that also continues. And this bondage of taking birth again and again, bhava, that is, the bhava means coming into existence as it were. So, bhu bhavati, that is the Sanskrit root, and so it is. Therefore, Sri Ramakrishna is described by Vivekananda in the very first line of the Arati song that we sing every evening, Khandana Bhavabandhana. That is Sri Ramakrishna. So this Bhagavad Gita is also like that, Bhavadveshini, that if you follow that Bhagavad Gita, the bondage will not remain. All karma by knowledge will get exhausted. As assured in Bhagavad Gita, Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute yatha. When the fire of knowledge starts burning in you, and this knowledge will be provided to be absorbed, assimilated and experienced, that knowledge will be like a fire that will burn every bit of karma, because all these actions and their accumulated results, they are all due to ignorance. And when ignorance is kind of the root, and we have this cycle described in Vedanta, avidya, kama, karma. That there is the ignorance, avidya. Because of that, I and world, they look different from each other, I and world. And this I starts running after fulfillment of so many things that this I sees. The world seems to be full of many alluring, enchanting things, and this I keeps on running after them. So, desires, avidya, kama. And then that running becomes the karma. And then it again solidifies the ignorance, further makes the ignorance that more and more powerful in life. Knowledge gets covered more, and thus this becomes an unending vicious cycle, karma bandha. That is the word used in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, you read that, karma bandha. And this karma bandha is to be now severed, broken by knowledge. Since the cause is ignorance, the remedy is knowledge. The cause and the remedy, they have to be, matching each other. If something is the cause, something that has no connection with it cannot be the remedy, you see. It is, that is what we do. The fire of desire is raging. And what we do, we pour fuel into it of the objects of desire and hope that that will quench the fire. It flares further, just as by pouring fuel to fire, We think that it will go away. No, that is how the desires never go away. Because our action is reverse, pour the water on it. That will remove, that will stop the fire. But that doesn't appear to be right because of ignorance. We feel that yes, I want this, and then we take that to that fulfill that want to remove that fire. No, it just flares up. So this is the karma bandha. And now how it gets shattered, how it gets removed or broken? By knowledge. And this knowledge is not an intellectual understanding. Somehow or other, many of us have this silly idea that knowledge means reading books and understanding. That is only a small, maybe initial part. That's about it. But it has to grow deep. It should become a deeper understanding. And then it matures into deep conviction, which becomes experience. Then that becomes the knowledge. When it becomes experience, then as Sri Ramakrishna used to call this as Vijnana, Jnana and Vijnana. Vijnana means that very knowledge getting converted into experience. He used to give a nice analogy. Some have just heard about milk. That is one stage, just something like milk may be existing. Then there are a few who have seen it. They are more convinced about it. But really there are some who actually drank the milk and then got all the nutritional benefits that the milk has to give. So that is how some have just heard passing here and there that there is something like God, and it is taken as a trash bag. It means all the problems, God is responsible for it. That it is why God did like this. It is all doing of God. It is in the insurance also there is some clause like that, acts of God, which they don't cover. It is just to save, everybody wants to save their skin. So insurance companies, they say, well, we don't cover acts of God. Even some other contracts that it is, they give the time limit, like our construction work, the contractor has given a timeline that within this time it will be finished. But there were the clauses printed in fine prints that if the acts of God like snow, storm, these, that intervene, then this timeline will not be held on to. So it is this act of God. That is the only thing we know about God. Nothing more than that. So, but then some have gone deeper, that yes, God is, they pray to God. They pray to God for well-being, for getting more benefit, so that I don't get corona, but that enemy will get it sure. So it is, all such prayers, they come. That is just having heard that God is all powerful and all that, some little belief has come, not much. That cannot be called anusandadhame. It is, but then some go deeper. It is, 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita discusses that that two types of people, how some are that good people, some are bad people. So those good people, they believe in me, I want to act accordingly. Bad people, they are namam dushkrutino, that the word used there is dushkrutino. Namam dushkrutino mudha prapadyante naradhamaha. He calls them naradhamaha, that the worst amongst human beings, they do not even accept that there is some such reality, a controlling being. No, nothing. It all happens by chance. In the 16th chapter, it is described in the what are their characteristics. We won't go into that right now. But then there are those sukritino. Chaturvida bhajante mam sukritine. Sukritino, Arjuna, hey Arjuna, oh Arjuna, these the others, the good people, they have the 4 categories, 4 levels. That arto, jijnasu, artharthi, or sometimes that sequence I see in some change. Arto, artharthi, jijnasu, jnani cha bharatarshabha. Artha, there are problems, and so that makes somebody go to God. A lot of difficulties in life. So for example, many were praying that somebody lost job, so his family members, he himself, and they told everybody, please pray that he will get another job quickly, they are suffering, and so forth. So, or there is some sickness, not getting better at all, not recovering. So please pray that my this disease goes away. So artha, they have come to their wits' end, and so as a last resort, think of God, pray for that. There is somebody who will save us. So it is like that, artha. Then there are artharthi. They have no such afflictions as such, but they want more. There is the greed, want more money. That okay, I will acquire one more company. I have just right now only 50 millions, but then by year end I think I should get at least 55. So it is like that, artharthi. So God help me. It is they buy a lottery ticket, and I have seen it, they believe in God, otherwise they won't do it. After buying the lottery ticket, he kept it in the shrine right in front of the images of God. So God bless it. I am not making it up, friends. It is, I actually saw. And that man actually showed me. Oh, I bought the lottery ticket. Is it? Oh, yes, it is there in the shrine room. We keep it in the shrine so that God's grace will fall on it. Well, unless you believe in God, how will you do it? So there is some level of belief in God as the giver of wealth and all that. So, artharthi, then jijnasu, a little better in a way, that want to know, well, what this God business people talk about, what is the secret of that? Let me explore that. What is it? Why so many people are studying God and religion and all? So the person tries to dwell little deeper. Just not for realizing, like the reporters, they are inquisitive. Hey, what's happening there? Let me find out why there is some noise there. And so religion is certainly an enigma, that it is about somebody whom nobody has seen. If you exclude those very small number of people, they, as one engineer was telling me, that is a small number, we don't care about it. So, in many professions it goes like that. It is a small number, we don't care about it. In this today afternoon I am giving a talk on here at our regular Sunday talk on somnambulism or sleepwalking. So many psychiatrists and psychologists, they say that's a very small number, we don't care about them. So it is, it is small number, so let it go away, we don't want to bother about that. Some dwell into it, but again not much. So this is the jijnasu, that this is human beings are by nature this inquisitive, they are curious, and then out of curiosity they do many things. That is why human beings are considered coming from monkeys, because monkeys, like that comics serial Curious George, that Curious George, a monkey always gets into trouble by being too curious, and then so whatever it may be, so that is one way. And then there are those jnani who understand God is all pervading, God is my true nature, God is the controller of everything, and the goal of life is to realize that. So jnani. So Lord said that all are good. The dushkritino, those who do not accept God at all, they have been already taken out. Sukritino, the good people, they have been classified in 4. All are good. Udara sarva evete. Lord says after describing this that all of them are good. But jnani tu atmaiva mematam. They, jnani, the one who has this understanding, jnani here doesn't mean the one who is supremely illumined person. About that person it is not mentioned here. But the one who understands these principles, that yes, that person now follows and ultimately becomes true jnani. Now today's topic is that when somebody is now determined, yes, I will become a person with that realization of God, that is the goal of my life, I have understood, and I am taking up this journey from ignorance to knowledge. It's we have discussed this many times, that it is spiritual life. In fact, the life in general is taken up as a journey. You are at one place and then you end up in another place. Now when it is taken up conscientiously like a journey to illumination, then it becomes spiritual life. Otherwise it is, you are moving about, it is difficult to call it journey. Like on a circular road, if you are moving, you can't call it a journey, because it doesn't, that road never ends. You keep on again and again and again. That is what is common people, that is called samsara. That is the definition of samsara. So keeps on moving, no escape. But when you take it up conscientiously as journey to a destination, then yes, I understood, got it. And in 6th chapter, that is described a it has been described in earlier chapters and will come later also. 6th chapter basically deals on controlling our propensities and controlling the mind, what is called a dhyana yoga or abhyasa yoga. Repeatedly do that meditative practices, controlling practices. It is the heart of, in a way, of all other practices as well. Because even if you are practicing, say, devotion, you should have your faculties under your control. If they are just getting scattered, how are you going to practice devotion? So therefore, this 6th chapter is considered a very important, crucial chapter. It also connects the further, means the karma yoga to bhakti yoga, goes this via this 6th chapter. And so it is considered by many commentators, many great teachers, as a chapter of great importance. And in this chapter, a lot of discussion comes about the control of mind. We have to learn to control. We have to practice. And this practice should be done relentlessly for a long time. And has been described that that how from the verses, say 25th verse or 24th verse, let us begin reading from 24th chapter, that you have to, as the desires rise, sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshatah manasaivendriya gramam viniyamya samantatah shanai shanairuparamid buddhya dhritigruhitaya atmasamstham manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. So these two verses actually are combined, because it begins in the 24th verse and the verb comes in the 25th verse. So it is, so what is to be done? Sankalpa prabhavan kaman, all the desires that get born. From what? They get born from the ideas or sankalpa, some kind of a, that I should have this, and then I should become like that person, and desires spring up. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman. So the desires is a grosser expression here of what is called sankalpa, means having the basic desire to be happy, joyous and all that. So from that come out these various desires. Now remove them all. Don't entertain any of that. This is Abhyasa Yoga. This chapter gets called Abhyasa Yoga, means the yoga of practice. So this is a constant practice. As soon as desires arise, hey, get out. It is, so sarvan, don't keep something, otherwise it is easy to give up those things that you don't anyway like, You don't like them, so giving up it is easy, very easy. So it is, but if you like it, then you want to reserve it. Okay, I can give up these 50% desires and retain these good 50% desires. Not that. Asheshatah, sarvan asheshatah. They are desires. And even if you keep one, it is like, you want to fill a jar with water, and there are, say, 10 holes. If you say, I will let one hole be there, 9 I can plug, but one I will leave. That all that water you are going to fill, that all will, otherwise it would have ran out through 10 holes. Now it will all run out through one hole. So therefore, all the various desires that keep on springing up, control them, remove them, and Manasaivendriya Gramam Viniyamya Samantatah. It is the mind, it's these four faculties, then the sense organs, and all this machinery of perception and perception related action. It is a cybernetic equipment, that it is according to perception, it gives rise to action. So information related activity, that is how, for example, you see that there is a cookie. Now that perception inspires an action. Your legs start moving there, mouth starts watering, and so forth. All this happens. This is an information inspired action. So this whole instrument of that is called Manasa Eva Indriya Gramam Viniyamya Samantatah. Comprehensively the whole thing needs to be controlled. And then Shanai gradually Buddhya Dhriti Grahitaya. Oh, the words are, so many things have been combined into it. And that is why it shows how complex the project is. It is, you can't club it all together in one. But there are so many details of it. Like one thing, you have to manage this factory. Then one job, if you look it like that, one job. It is, but if you look into the details, there is the that financial aspect of it, there is the accounting aspect of it, there is this production part of it, there is the sales of it. It is, then there is the personal aspect of it. So many factors are there. So managing factory means you have to manage all these, and all these are to be kept under control. So then you are manager, otherwise you are managed, not a manager, the exact opposite, So Manasaivendriya Gramam Viniyamya Samantatah Shanai Uparamed Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya. By taking hold of the faculty of discernment, that is buddhi, dhriti grihitaya, that buddhi also can be understood here as the consciousness, that it is holding on to the consciousness of divine and holding on to perseverance. Dhriti is the perseverance. Because the mind wants results very quickly. If you don't get the result, then you give it up. One of our Swami homeopathy, he was homeopathy doctor, and very nice Swami. I knew him for a long time, even when I was a college student. And then sometimes we used to go to him to take medicine. And then he would say, well, you have to take this for so many days. He was very humorous. You go to that allopathic doctor, that doctor, if all that doesn't work, then you come to me. I know that. That you have taken this pill, that pill, and that you take with belief. Mine, when you take, this is homeopathy, in 2 days, if it doesn't give result, you throw it out. So it is, no, you have to take it for a long time. It's a long haul. So remember, spiritual life is not one day that you are sitting for meditation. That too we call it meditation, mind is wandering all around. I sat for meditation for 10 minutes, nothing happened. Well, it is not meant to happen like that. Shanai, Shanai, gradually your mind will start, getting under control. It takes long time. And na kinchidapi chintayet. Don't worry, keep on doing it. Don't disturb yourself by other these worries. That what will happen, how long will I have to do it? Well, till it happens. Till it happens, patiently keep on doing it. And don't look into that whether how far I have come and how much I have to go and all those. Don't disturb yourself by that. I had told you this story that our late revered Prabodhananji had told in the retreat here, that the monkeys were given the job by their friend gardener, that you water, I am away, so can you water the plants? And they were friends. They said, yeah, sure. But after a week, this gardener comes and sees that all plants have died. They were even uprooted. What is happening? He gets so upset, and those called the monkeys. You assured me that you will water the plants. Of course we watered the plants. You were, yes, not only that. After watering, we used to uproot them and see if the water has reached there or not. Now that is what happens. Every now and then, if you start looking, how much have I progressed today? That's a very terrible thing, In childhood, I used to be told that, okay, you do these push-ups and all that, and that will build your muscles. So after doing the push-up, I would stand in front of the mirror and see, whether how much it has become. Now that one day doing it doesn't happen. You have to persevere for a long time. Let it become habit. Na kinchidapi chintaye. Don't worry. So that's it. You see, so, and then after telling that the process has been told, that then gradually you will start feeling the Brahma Samsparsha, and then you will start actually perceiving, that verse comes here, Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmane Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. You will see the same one being, the self here, as the self of everyone. That is the same self in all would be seen by you. So, this is the result. Certainly I want that result, but I have to follow this process. Now this question comes to people after he narrates this. The question gets voiced by Arjuna here, that, this yoga, yoyam yogas tvaya proktas samyena madhusudana. How can it be begun? The mind is a terrible thing, you said you should control it. It is impossible to control it. Lord says, what you say is true, but by practice, everything comes gradually by practice. This practice is twofold, abhyasa vairagya. Patanjali also mentions this, abhyasa vairagya bhyam tan nirodha. Abhyasa vairagya means refrain, vairagya, going in the wrong direction, and keep on going in the right direction. If you go in the right direction but also are going in the wrong direction, there is no progress. Like one Swami told me nicely, If you are just doing meditation for some time, maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours, but then that means you are going for 2 hours in the right direction, and then remaining 22 hours going in the wrong direction. How do you expect to make progress? No, not like that. So Vairagya, not going to the wrong direction, go in the right direction. And we used to do that very nice thing. If the vehicle is to be pushed on an upward curve, now you may have that all of us would, hey, come on, push. It would go a few feet, maybe a couple of yards, and then our energy would sag, and then the vehicle would come down, and then again we are stuck where it was. So the trick is you push it, and when your energy is going low, put a brick there under the wheel so that it doesn't slide down. The travel in the wrong direction is not happening. So whatever little happens in right direction, fine. So you have told all this requires this Lord says that is the only way. Keep on doing it, and gradually it will be under control. Then Arjuna asks this question, that but what will happen, dear, that I started now, but the life is very uncertain. We know that we will die before completing the passage. Then what will happen? We left this shore, didn't make to the next shore, and we will be drowned in the middle stream. Do you want to, it's a scary prospect. It is already very difficult. And then if I don't make it to the other shore, I will be just gone. Will this happen to me? That is the Arjuna's questions from 37th verse. Ayati shraddhayo peto yogat chalita manasah apraptya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim krishna gacchati. I am taking this a leap, but if I fall in the middle, it is, I had that in my childhood. I remember there was a game that catch me like game was, and so I was running, some other friends were frantically chasing me, and then they were trying to corner somebody from this direction, that direction. So, and then how to avoid them? And I saw there is a canal, some about maybe 3-4 feet wide canal, and if I jump over, then I will surely hoodwink all of those pursuers. So, but the mind was, hey, if I fall in the middle, my goodness. But then I decided to muster courage, You can imagine, I was just about 10-11 years old then. So I took a start, ran and leaped over, just managing to get that. And thus all of them, those who were pursuing me, came there, and then wondering, I laughed and showed my tongue to them, and then vanished. So it was, but that fear comes, if I drown in between. So this we never get, in ignorance we do not get this fear about doing many rash things in life. It is go to gambling, and if I lose everything, that thought doesn't come. We do many terrible things in life. But only when it is about God realization, what will happen if I don't get it? Must be, I am sure, our great, this wonderful spiritual seeker, I respect him a lot, our Professor Lakshmanji, must be already thinking, there, that what would happen if suppose I die without completing the journey. That is Arjuna's basic question, that he would be lost from this end as well as that end. It is, so both are gone. I understand that all this samsara I want to leave, but I should get there, otherwise this samsara also is gone. It is uncertain and all that bondage, but at least something is better than nothing at all. So, and then I give it up, but don't get that. And then, so kachino ubhayabhrashta chinnabhramiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmana pathi. Arjuna is telling these, very telling words really, that real fear in the minds of a spiritual aspirant, that what will happen? I am leaving this. I understand this world is terrible and all that. I don't want to get caught in it. I want to realize God. But if I get stuck in the middle, then, so he says, Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasya sheshatah, that please remove this doubt completely from my mind. And who else will otherwise be able to do it? I take refuge in you. So God assures, that is how in Bhagavad Gita, this message is given in such a consoling, beautiful words, that God says, don't worry, don't get scared. Just please calm down. It is the message of Bhagavad Gita is, when Lord is speaking, the clouds just get cleared, and you see the truth as it were. So he says that Bhagavan Uvacha Parth Naivetra Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kaschid Durgatim Tata Gacchati. No, for sure, neither here nor there. He is not going to get annihilated, going to be, destroyed. No. It is, if you have started on any journey, Kalyanakrit, for your ultimate welfare, Kalyana, that is, it is in some Indian languages, Kalyana means getting married. That also in South India they call it Kalyana Mandapam, where they hold their weddings. So in some other languages, sarcastically that word is used, that it is gone. So Kalyan. So it is anyway. So he says that a person going on this path of ultimate well-being will not get destroyed at all. So take it up. So what happens? You see, wherever the life ends, a very important thing is to be noted here, that you don't lose anything that you have acquired so far. Every single minutest unit of progress that you have acquired remains with you. And then you have to take another body, no doubt, because you have not completed the journey. But then you will come up in a much superior, better situation. Already whatever journey you have covered, you now start moving forward from that point. You don't have to take it up again. Like suppose you are going from say New York to California, you are driving. And now it's a long journey, you don't complete it, that drive, you take a break. Suppose you drove during the day for 7 hours, naturally tired, it is night also, and so you want rest, you stop in some motel for the night. And then next journey, you take it up. You might have, come somewhere in Pennsylvania. You now don't have to start from New York. You start from that place wherever you took the night halt. From that place onwards you move. The progress that you have achieved is not lost. So he says, what happens? Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Bhijayate. That Athva Yoginam Eva Kule Bhavati Dhimatam. He gets birth in Prapta Punya Kritam Lokan. That you get born in advantageous situation for spiritual life. That there is now the family background, the availabilities of, say, religious teachings or the congenial circumstances would be already there for you, wherefrom you can move faster, because now whatever practice you had done earlier, that remains with you. Whatever practice of controlling the propensities of mind, you have already got it with you. It is, nothing gets lost. Even we see that some children right from birth are wonderful with maths, the other children, they struggle with it. Even after spending a lot of time, they feel so confused. It is, how does it? Yeah, they bring out whatever funny answers, that in Abbott Costello's stories there is that how that 25 divided by 5, the answer is 41, now how 25, well, that is how the arithmetic, everybody is not capable of it. Some are wizards, like that Ramanujam. The numbers were talking with him as it were, that which was dark for others was light for him. So, because he had done it in the past several births, now he is born with that knowledge. So, that is how it will happen. And so, therefore, you will not lose anything. There is no falling in the middle. Please give up that fear completely. Please let us all remember that there is no falling in the middle. Whatever we achieve, from there we begin the journey. So the point is, right now, at this very moment, let us begin with all sincerity and whatever power is at our disposal. Let us concentrate and work on that. That is the idea. So he says further that prayatna jatamanastu yogi samshuddha kilbishah anek janma samsiddhas tato yati param gatim. May take lot of births, doesn't matter. Continue the practice. How many births it take, who cares? Do not worry about these meaningless, unimportant and positively distracting questions. How many births it will take? Some conclude that in this birth it's not going to happen. Why? How do you know? I mean, how does one know that this is not going to happen in this birth? It could happen in this birth also. Very well. So don't lose heart, don't even conclude, don't think about it. It is, one gentleman was telling me that in this birth it's not going to happen. Next birth maybe, bless me that I will become a Swami. As if Swami means is going to realize God. Everything you have to practice. How do you know that it is not going to happen in this birth? And how do you guarantee that it will happen in next some birth? There is nothing. We do not know about it at all. So let us not make any such wrong assumption that it is not going to happen in this birth. It could happen. Why not? It could happen. And if it is, how do you predict that no, after 3-4 births it will happen? No, we don't have the knowledge of that, and we don't have even access to that knowledge, because it is something that transcends our available instruments like the sense organs and the mind. It is therefore called alaukika. This is what we experience by senses is called laukika. It is perceivable so by these senses and mind. But then if you get superior senses and mind that are not available to human beings with a clean mind, then you see that realm. That realm is not like this realm. So pashyanti jnana chakshusha, as 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says. So that is not available here. How many souls and so forth, as if our numbering system, like how many chairs that we try to apply at that level also. It is not applicable there. But therefore it is futile to think about how many souls will be there and where will they live, and it is not, we are trying to compare completely two different planes. So therefore forget about those questions. Do not waste your energy in that, and so keep on working. Samshuddha kalmisha kalbishah aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gatim. Whatever anek, maybe many birds, 100 birds, 1,000 birds, who knows? There is that story Swami Vivekananda tells in Raj Yoga. He heard it from Sri Ramakrishna, that there was that Narada was going to Vaikuntha and met two different spiritual aspirants doing intense practice for God realization. So one of them said, well, he was visibly, performing a lot of austerities, standing on one leg and doing lot of fasting, this, that, and meditating and praying for a long time every day. So he said, please ask God, you are going to God, Narada, that how longer do I have to work for this, for liberation? How much time is left? Then he said, Narada said, surely I will ask God about it. Then as he moved further, he saw another aspirant. He was seemingly not looked quite happy person, was taking name of God, but was looking relaxed and happy. And Narada, please ask about me as well, that you are going there, how long do I have to keep on waiting for realization of God? And then Narada, on his return journey, as the story goes, that it is, he came to this first aspirant. Hey, did you ask God? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I did ask. How many? God said that you will have to undergo 4 more births. 4 more births? He was horrified. See how much practice I have been doing, how much austerities I have been performing, and still 4 more births. Oh my goodness, no, no, no. He gave up the practice. It's too much. And then what happens is not narrated. The other fellow, he was told, oh yes, I asked God about you as well. You are dwelling under this tamarind tree. And then as many leaves this tamarind tree has, I don't know how many of you have actually seen a tamarind tree. It is a huge tree with very small, tiny leaves. Maybe one tree could be having 1 million such leaves, who knows. It is so, Lord told me that as many leaves are there to this tamarind tree, so many birds you have to take more. This man became happy. Oh, so that means I am going to get liberated. He was ready to patiently keep on doing his practice joyously. And then he heard the voice that you are already free, my child, that you are ready. The time is just, the distance between events is called time. Time is not any particular measure. The events, as you perceive the events, so is your time. It is. So, he became liberated right there. So, therefore, aneka janma, do not think how many. It is, let us keep on practicing, and because God is our true nature, one day, on one moment, the knowledge will just dawn. And nothing happened. It was all just like a dream, it vanished. This whole world of I and mine, I am at these many years old, I was born there, that is my village, that is my this is my job, these are my parents, all will vanish, gone. I and mine will be completely annihilated, gone forever. So this is how it will happen. God has assured. There is no falling in the middle. Continue the practice. You will reach the goal. Don't ever entertain the fear that if I do not make it to the other end, no. Even if you do not make, first of all, don't even imagine that. It is useless to think like that. But even if you do not make it in this life, nothing that you have achieved will get lost on this path. So let us salute this Mother Bhagavad Gita again. And then if you have some questions, please type them. You must have already typed, some of you, so we will take them up. Gita sugita kartavya kimanyat shastra vistaraihi ya swayam padmanabhasya mukhapadmad vinisrita ekam shastram devaki putra gitam eko devo devaki putra eva eko mantraha tasya namani yani karmapyekam tasya devasya seva. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Please read out if there are questions.
Yeah, question from Charlie. If religion leads some people to believe in an eternal heaven and they are misled, how can we have faith that we are not being misled, saying that we need to attain Brahman and that we won't fall in the middle?
Well, it is eternal heaven. If you look into it, then you will see that this is an illogical idea in the common sense. But if you look at this word eternal, then it means that it is not a place. It is not limited by place and time, by this very word eternal. And thus you get to what it means is the illumination, realization of the self. And yes, it is good to believe that you will not be misled by that. So it is important to examine the ideas in the light of the life lived by sages and saints, not taking up something from these intellectual discussions of certain philosophers. It is important to take up the meaning as shown in the lives of great teachers of the world, Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, Ramakrishna, Vivekananda. See that, Holy Mother, and this question will not remain valid at all. Yeah.
Question from Lakshman Thakur. Maharaj, what are Dhyan, Dharana and Samadhi? What practices to achieve these?
Well, it is whatever the Guru has told. That is Dhyana, Dharana, Samadhi. All that will come gradually. Dharana means holding on to the desired goal, the goal of life that has to be held in our heart. That is called dharana. Hold on to it. And when that holding becomes kind of established, then it gets called dhyana. And then when you and that what you are holding, they become one, then it is called samadhi. So it begins with, in yoga aphorisms or in this part by pratyahara. Pratyahara means do not take in all that creates this bondage. Don't take it in. Like one child here that we tell, he doesn't eat anything which may have remotely touched any of those nuts, because he knows it will cause a lot of problems. He is allergic to that. So he is very careful about it. So therefore don't take anything that will hurt the spiritual progress. So that is called pratyahara, not taking in. Ahara means taking in. Pratyahara means not taking in. So it is then practice this dharana, hold on to that God in heart. It is a practice that has to be continued as guided by Guru. So, and then that dharana becomes ripe into dhyana, which becomes ultimately, it gets ripened into oneness, and then you get into what is called samadhi. Yes, thank you.
Question from Beth Willis. Some desires seem to bring us closer to the goal, like the desire to listen to lectures. How does one discriminate between helpful desires and desires that will move us away from God?
Yes, that is a very good question. And one has to apply this principle of discernment there. Those desires which make the mind get further distracted, those desires which multiply into more desires, that is, those are the desires which are not to be entertained. Those other desires which make us hold on to God more and more, those desires have to be not only inculcated, should be grown. So this is certainly here, although this that gets called desires, it is just the poverty of language that we have to use the word desire for that as well, like desire to listen to the lecture. If that is a good desire, it is not really a desire if it is being done as a spiritual practice to realize God, then it is very good. It is helpful. So therefore, Sri Ramakrishna used to say that there are these two types of Maya, avidya Maya, the Maya that binds you, and then the Maya that frees you. So Vidya Maya, the Maya of wisdom, the Maya of stupidity. So it is hold on to Maya of wisdom, Vidya Maya. So, and that is how you can hold on to it by discernment, that this is going to just bring more and more this distractions in life. They more and more branches are going to entangle me into it. So this is not the right thing. Where you get more and more focus on God, it is the process of bringing all faculties together towards the goal, or marked to the goal, pointed to the goal, then those are the right desires. Yeah.
Question from Rashmi Joshi. If desires get us entangled, then should we not have any desires? Will it also not lead one to become complacent and resigned to fate? Should one not try to strive for success in their daily lives? What is the way for householders?
Well, first of all this Bhagavad Gita is mainly for householders. Arjuna was not a monk, Arjuna was a householder. So, the message is useful for monks as well, but it is not necessarily for monks, like Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, whether you are a monastic or a householder, it is for everybody, but it is mainly directed to householders, because M was householder, through whom we get it. Similarly, Arjuna is a householder. So, when it is said all desires are to be given up, should we not have desire for success? No. It is success in spiritual life, yes, have that desire. But then the desire that let me get more promotion in my job, let me get more financial emoluments, or may I grow in the esteem of people surrounding me, may I become a very well-known famous figure. All such desires of this, they are a success in the world, which is better than failure in the world, that's all. But it has nothing to do with spiritual life. It will entangle us more and more into bondage, and will not take us into freedom. When I said it is better than not doing anything and becoming callous, becoming lazy and what we call tamogoni fellow, that is worst. It is comparatively it is better to strive for something superior in life, that it is okay, work for it, like that is also told to Arjuna in the second chapter, that fight this war, hato va prapsasi sargam, jitva va bhokshase mahem. If you win the war, you will be the king of this earth. Otherwise, if you are slain in the war, because you were fighting for the right cause, you will go to heaven. So that is all told there. But then, this has only this limited utility. You have to see that as a spiritual seeker, this whole gamut of desires, all the whole spectrum has to be given up, and only one desire is to be cultivated to realize God. Yes, there is, dear Rashmi, no alternative to it. Sorry. So, now let us go to our Connecticut group Zoom meeting. Do you want to come to Zoom meeting? Yeah.